Hi everyone, welcome to a quick overview for the Unbrilliant Glory Gregor Ego. It is the collab ego you can only get from the collab banner during the Archness collab, so grab it while it's hot. It's also the only one of those egos that is not in he and a buff instead. And it is a tremor burn ego, but it also works very funkily. Not really also like anything we had that much in Limbus before. Let's start with looking at the Awakening skill. It is an unclashable skill with 1 coin. When used for the first time in battle, you consume 4 ego resources. At X plus Mylner Scabbard, you instead do basically just use the stronger version of the Awakening skill. This does not hit any enemy, does not trigger any defense skills, and it cannot be re-triggered by ego gifts or something like that in Mylner Dungeon. After the attack he gains Mylner Scabbard, he heals SP and gains defense level up and damage up next turn. Kinda really sounds like that the first time you use the skill, it's probably just really more or less refund you the ego resources and the SP you spend on it. Next turn in exchange you get more damage and you get the most important part of all of this, Mylner Scabbard. It is a buff on Gregor himself that gives him stack divided by X Echo and stack divided by Y protection, and he gains more stacks of it at every turn end. So yeah, once you have the buff on him, it will just keep going and turn basically any Gregor ID just with this alone into more or less a tank. But protection also always pretty neat. But yeah, otherwise, the normal Awakening skill does nothing. But you are fine with doing nothing, since once you have enough of the Mylner Scabbard, you will use the ego again. You have to use the ego again, let's say it like this. It's not exactly how Hong Lu's WAW works, where it's also unclashable at first and just triggers at his death more or less. Here you have to manually re-trigger it. Yeah, once you use it a second time, once you have enough Mylner Scabbard, you will use this version instead with an unpickable coin. If you have enough Mylner Scabbard, it becomes a clashable skill then. And if the skills end and you had enough Mylner Scabbard, this unit cannot be staggered from taking damage and he gains extra clash power. He does consume all the Mylner Scabbards on himself and activates with that he recuperates Y ego resources used, so more ego usage refinement, which maybe just basically mean it's also for free if you wait long enough. He gains the attack rate from it, he gains defense level up. And if enough was consumed, the 5 coin deals more damage and this unit gains protection, which already makes you realize it's gonna have coin reuse, which is always very funny. It's interesting to see what coin this really is, but hopefully it's not too hard to trigger overall. Before attack he deals more damage for every X burn and tremor on the main target, and he will heal SP for every X target that was staggered or killed by the skill's damage. And after attack he will also gain Mylner Scabbard again, so even if he consumes it all, he will keep the buff on himself and it will just build up again. If it fails to consume enough Mylner Scabbard, the leftmost skill slot gains Echo, which neat. I don't think that should happen too often if you use it wide though. And yeah, then the unpickable coin. We will use this coin. Mylner Scabbard stack consumed divided by X -1 times. So depending how far the Mylner Scabbard really stacks, this could be a big amount of coins. I don't know. I assume This is the WAW, it might go up to something like 5 coins. Would be neat, at least. Coin start if this coin is in Quack, and if it attacks X plus enemies, the final coin to be used deals more damage. On hit, he inflicts burn and tremor potency, and if the coin did not Quack, and it is the final coin, and there's enough tremor potency on the target, he will trigger a tremor burst, which, depending on how much potency you do on those coins, might be just if you have enough reuse coins, it is automatically a tremor burst. And then if this coin was used often enough, he also deals sloth damage equal to tremor on target. So could be potentially a big tremor sloth nuke. Tremor itself as a status already has a lot of amazing egos that do a lot of the heavy lifting for it, but having one more doesn't hurt. Gregor didn't have one yet. To be fair, Gregor also does not really have a good tremor ID yet. And then the corrosion skill for unpickable coins. It's indiscriminate and targets randomly. If you attack X plus targets and 1 to 3 coins hit without cracking the final coin will deal more damage. You gain extra power from enough of the self buff. You also do consume everything on yourself for defense level up, and if it was enough consumed to deal more damage with the final coin and gain some more protection. You have another damage modifier for burn and tremor potency on the main target. And you lose base power for every cracked coin, which I think we also haven't seen beforehand. And yeah, after attack he also gains the self buff again. Yep. And this time, if he consumed enough, the leftmost skill will gain aggro next turn. This one should happen a lot more often then. The first 3 coins are literally just coins. 4th coin has some burn and tremor potency, and if you did not crack this one, you also can trigger a tremor burst if you have enough tremor on the target, but this time you don't have anything to build up any tremor potency on your own, so you're really dependent on what happened beforehand. And then to the passive, so not only from gaining man in Scabbard from just using the skill and then just amassing it, he will also gain it for every X HP damage taken from getting hit. It should be a lot easier since you can make him just get hit with using his awakening skill first once and just basically targeting someone. For every Viper's shield HP damage taken from getting hit, for enough staggered allies, and for dead allies and when other allies are killed. So more or less, Gregor himself in the party gets punched, you gain more Scabbard. And actually the only real passive out of that otherwise is that if Gregor would get staggered due to damage and he has enough man and Scabbard on himself, he will get resistances up to value of Y and will recover from stagger. Very interesting. It's honestly, even if it's a WAW, the damage will probably be good alone, and I feel like Gregor himself really has not the best WAW so far. It's decent, but very situational since his one was very reliant on resonances and also maybe a bit awkward to pay for since you needed sin resources of every sin type. So this might be a lot more usable. Might be niche since it will turn just every Gregor into a tank, and that is its main use, I would say. For burn, it could also still be nice since he has with Fire Punchman a very good burn ID right now, so he would get the bonus modifier from burn and tremor, and honestly burn can run well with tremor at this point because of the thumb IDs we're having too. There's synergy there. But yes, I feel like it kind of still misses a good ID. You could, for the memes, also just use Zweig Gregor. He would profit a lot from this. But even then, maybe he does not really need a specific ID, or if he ever gets another good tank ID, this will be automatically just best in slots because even more protection and stuff like that. Yeah, having a tank on demand in any team that runs the Gregor with this could also be very decent and interesting at least. And yeah, while I assume this in itself will not be the most powerful thing, it's also a unique thing we did not have before. And then for something like this, I also really feel like there's nothing comparable yet. So also a good thing to just pick, since with how the overall meta is going, tanks become more and more valuable with all those unpickable coins and stuff like that. And men that can get punched and just say no to getting staggered, very good in that case then. But yeah, that's more or less it for this video. I made videos for all the other egos too. Make sure to check them out if you're interested, and if not, bye bye.